Alright, welcome back to part 2 of this single battle in the livestream.net's Final Fantasy VII Let's Play. At the end of the last video, Tennyo mentioned how much it must suck to not have any long-range fighters in the battle. And that actually happened to me in one playthrough when, unthinkingly, I had equipped Barret with a short-range weapon and fought Bottom Swell. Fortunately, I had actually equipped Cloud with the long-range materia, so I was completely useless. But I thought I'd have two people who could just smack him instead of the one.
So you were beating him on limit breaks alone?
Not just limit breaks. I could hit him with Cloud.
Oh, okay.
And I did have a healthy supply of Bolt magic on at the time. But it was just sort of the, oh right, scissors. Those don't fire.
Great.
Don't!
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
See, he just tried to do it with Red 13,
Yeah.
but they can't reach. What was that? And did he forget, or is he doing that for the benefit of people who are watching?
I think he might be doing it just to build up the limit meter, because you do get an infinitesimal amount, I think. No, wait, no. I think it's just so he can't do anything else, because he's used up Red 13's useful magic.
He's got like 82 MP.
But he might have not equipped any on Red.
Oh, you know, I wasn't paying attention to
I
any of
wasn't
that.
But he didn't show us the menu there, so it's entirely possible.
But Red 13
But
to sleep anyways. Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah.
So I know everybody who plays through ends up using quite a few different characters. What is your main party that you go through the game with?
Typically I run through with Cloud, Tifa, Sid. Once you get them.
Yeah.
I think when I play through,
Victory!
I usually like to have Aerith in my party while she's still alive.
You mean not after?
Yeah, I like to have her in after too, because I found out the magical way to bring her back to life. It does exist.
So have I. It's called Game Shark.
Ooh.
So sneaky. No, but I know people like to tell me that, oh, she's so useless in battle, but I don't know, I kind of like to have her in battle. I don't think that she's that useless. I think that she can do, you know, some decent damage, and plus when she gets her limit break at the proper moment, it can really save you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people just prefer, get it over quicker. You know, why do you need the healing if you can just kill them dead right now?
I suppose. I don't know, I like to try to throw some strategy.
Boy and his
games.
dog.
I thought that this was supposed to be like a cat.
Probably is a cat of some sort. It just reminds me with the shotgun, and it reminds me of Fallout specifically.
I know people always talk about this Dark Nation thing being a dog, but I think it's supposed to be a cat.
Everybody talks about, you know, Red being a cat too, so you know.
I hear people talk more about Red being a dog than a cat.
Well, he's a cat-ish.
Like a wolf.
Yeah, he is a
Same.
cat. It's one cat riding a bigger cat.
Well, I always thought that he was like, he's supposed to be a hybrid between like a wolf and a lion.
That's what I thought, because he does howl.
Yeah,
at
he
one
does
point
howl.
in the game.
And I think that, you know, his face kind of looks like, I can't decide if it's more canine or more feline. I thought Rufus just laughs.
So Cloud gets a Hadouken pose just to fire off some magic. Healing magic. Hadouken! Fireball!
must be a lot of work to put the sword on his back and then take it off and put it on his back and take it off.
Well, they got the magnet holster. But yeah,
That would make
it
it
is
tough, though. With the
an
magnet.
extremely inefficient way of casting.
Well, what can you do? It looks awesome. Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay, so that little thing that's on Rufus right now makes you think of Pyramid Head from like Sandman. Like a Dark Nation first cast it, I was like,
is
Pyramid
Head. What are you talking about?
That's creepy. Of course, we did just kind of go through a scary part of the game with blood and small marks everywhere.
And the ominous
I'm
music.
sorry, I only work 9 to 5. I'll be back tomorrow. We can continue this fight to the death then.
That is one of the coolest ways of getting off a building I've ever seen.
Just grab onto
Holding
the
onto the sports
helicopter
strap.
and...
It was just hanging out behind him until he was done.
Get the sword, damn you! Get the
I
sword!
can imagine back in the day that would be awesome, like the helicopter flying around behind the battle. People would be like, whoa! I remember the first time I ever saw graphics on like a Super Nintendo and I thought that they were so amazing. I just imagine people thought of the PlayStation. Yeah, the first time I saw PlayStation graphics, I remember I'd walk over to a friend's house after school and she had a demo from Pizza Hut of Final Fantasy VIII. And I was like, of a Dolet invasion. And we just like would stare at it. We're like, wow, these graphics are so realistic. It's awesome.
Speaking of the Final Fantasy VIII demo, there were a lot of subtle visual changes in it, just mostly dealing with the fact that you had Rinoa in it instead of the usual people.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of hilarious conspiracy type theory nonsense about Final Fantasy VIII. One of the weirdest of all of them is the well-organized time compression, which I couldn't even go into and do justice how crazy this thing was in the time we have remaining in the next few LPs.
Oh, here,
So
this
if I-
part's awesome.
I
We
know,
should probably get
love
back to
this
talking
cut.
about Final Fantasy VII.
I found a thing. We're leaving in a thing.
Motorcycle time. With the weirdest pickup truck I've ever seen.
I know.
And Barret like barely
Hardy
fits in the
Daytona.
back.
It's cool they can just drive it right off the display with a full tank of gas.
I know, right?
Well, how do you think they got it on there? I mean, no, it's actually apparently Mako powered, and they just either forgot to take the Mako battery out, or they just shoved one in. Because I think they sell them at the store.
There you go. I would once say one thing about the Final Fantasy VIII demo, though. In the demo, there's a dog that licks Cypher, and he wasn't in the game,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
very disappointed when I actually got around to playing Final Fantasy VIII, and I saw, oh, there's no dog licking Cypher.
That just ruined the entire game.
Yeah, I was like, screw this. But anyways,
One of the many mini games.
yeah, this game did have quite a few mini games, but this is, I have to say, probably the most awesome.
Yeah.
This
like
is one of
the most iconic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Everybody remembers this game.
His sword looks bigger than usual on that bike too.
It does. He needs to be able to like reach everybody.
He's just flailing around.
It was this experience that taught Cloud to get the sword handles on the Fenrir, just so he could put it somewhere when he wasn't using it.
Instead of dragging it on the road when
Yeah.
he's driving.
Yeah.
Having it scrape along.
Oh, this is the first time I've actually ever noticed the background.
Oh, you know, I wasn't really paying attention either.
Yeah, you are weaving quite the path through... Wow, that is a gradient. But quite the path through Midgar. Actually, that makes me curious. It would be completely... this is another one of those things where if you were absolutely determined, you could completely not only use this to scale Midgar, but you could also figure out where this highway goes in Midgar.
Ah.
Does it even go anywhere? Do they just like put random stuff in the background? I mean, that's what I would want to know. Is there actually like a map? They have it planned out and they thought, okay, here's Midgar, here's where we're gonna have this minigame take place. Or did they just, you know, throw together a random highway for the sake of the game?
Honestly, it's probably both, but under suspension of disbelief, you technically could go, oh, so this goes this, and then you'd probably find out that, wait, this doesn't work at all.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah. Because we do know that that route that they're on goes from the center of Midgar to the very... actually beyond the very edge of Midgar. So...
No, that was kind of weird to me, though.
What,
like,
that they got on the incomplete highway?
Well, I mean, it's like, why do the highways go off the plate like that?
Yeah, right over the edge.
Like, are they going to complete it and have it be a way to get, like, go out of Midgar directly to the plate, or what?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've seen, you know, incomplete highways before, and a lot of times they do just plain end. They have the exits, but they're like, get off, this is the last exit, so...
Yeah. I was just kind of wondering, like, are they gonna expand more on the plate up there, or... no? But I guess they're never going to anyway, regardless of what they're planning.
Yeah.
I'm great. I remember this fight being really tough. Like, for some reason, it took me forever to kill this thing.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking, too. So you don't get a save point right before. You have to go through the entire minigame and then get this one. I was always nervous every time I would get...
I never found this battle difficult, personally.
I don't know, it was probably my first... It was my first time playing this game, so I was like, oh, what's going on?
I don't know, by the time I played Final Fantasy VII, I was already the veteran of 2 epic games. The likes of which you youngins will never know. But yeah, I played, actually 3. Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy IV, and Final Fantasy VI I played before this. And Chrono Trigger, and Breath of Fire 2, and basically...
And a million other games.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I gamed in the Super Nintendo generation.
Oh, I didn't.
I did, but I had a Genesis.
So did I. So Sonic
Although I had a
the
friend
Hedgehog
who had a Super Nintendo, so we played Mario Kart. But yeah, Sonic. I like to play Sonic too.
Mm-hmm.
Tails. I like Master Game.
Did you ever get Sonic and Knuckles that had the flip top where you could add another game onto it and totally change the characters and some of the levels?
But I never actually owned it because my mom actually, back then, she worked for a video rental store, so we got all the free rentals that we wanted. So she would just like bring home these games for us to play.
I remember we had a Blockbuster about, I don't know, a couple of blocks, 4 or 5 blocks from my house.
Okay.
So I could just walk over.
Well, that's nice.
You know, so I'd go over, you know, rent a game, beat in 3 days, or rent a movie, copy it. Because this was during the days of VHSs. VHS copy protection is such a joke. Even with the VHSs that you're not supposed to be able to copy from, or you know, use to make copies, if you have tape, you're good to go.
Yeah. Pirating wasn't so much of a big issue back then.
Honestly, it's still not a big issue, it's just people make it one. Victory!
Yay! I wonder
We're
how
gonna
they
have to
get
continue
off
this
of...
next installment.
Yeah.
5 seconds.